Have you ever stood at the edge of your own breaking point staring into an abyss that seems to swallow all light, all hope, all sound, that moment when the ground beneath your feet turns to dust and the future you carefully built collapses into a pile of rubble? We have all been there in one way or another, that terrifying crossroads where one path leads to surrender and the other to a fight you are not sure you can win. This is not a story about a hero with superhuman strength or a genius with a perfect plan. This is a story about the most powerful force a human being can possess, a force you have within you right now. It is the story of a simple choice. Ravi was a man whose world was measured in the steady hum of printing machines and the smell of fresh ink. His shop was small, tucked away on a busy street, but it was his kingdom. It provided not just food and shelter but dignity. It paid for his daughter's school uniform and his wife's medicine. It was the anchor of his existence. He worked long hours, his hands often stained with ink, but his heart was always light because he knew his labor had meaning. Every evening he returned home to a small apartment where his greatest treasure awaited: his daughter's laughter and his wife's quiet smile. Their life was a simple melody, but it was their symphony. Then one night a spark from a worn-out wire found its way to a stack of paper. In the time it takes to draw a single breath, that symphony was silenced. The fire raged, consuming machines, memories, and security. By dawn there was nothing left but blackened walls and the acrid smell of lost friends and neighbors gathered, their faces etched with pity and horror. They saw a man who had lost everything. They expected to see him crumble, to see tears of despair, and Ravi just stood there amidst the ashes of his life. And he smiled. One man could not bear it. "Why are you smiling?" he cried out. "Have you gone mad? Everything is gone." Ravi turned his eyes clear and calm and said, "If I choose to cry, I lose my present along with my past. I lose my spirit, I lose twice. If I choose to smile, I still have my mind, I still have my hands, I still have my hope. I have only lost once." The universe, it seems, has a way of testing the authenticity of our choices. Ravi's trial was not over. The stress and the soot from the fire took a toll on his wife's fragile health. She fell ill, confined to her bed. Their daughter, her eyes wide with a fear too old for her years, had to leave school to help. The man who once owned a business was now jobless, broke, and caring for a sick wife. He was at the absolute bottom of the well, looking up at a pinprick of light, but that smile, the one he chose in the embers, it never truly left his eyes. It was not a smile of joy, it was a smile of defiance, a silent declaration of war against despair. He did not wait for a miracle. He became one. He took a job cleaning buses from midnight until dawn, the harsh chemicals burning his nostrils, but not his resolve. In the cold, quiet mornings he sold newspapers, his voice a steady rhythm against the city's waking sounds. In the afternoons he learned to repair tires at a local garage, his once ink-stained hands now black with grease. He worked until his body screamed in protest, but his spirit remained silent and steadfast. He worked not because he was not tired, but because he was not finished. He was rebuilding not just a business, but a life, brick by painful brick. His wife, watching his unwavering strength, found her own. Her health slowly improved. His daughter, inspired by her father's quiet courage, returned to her studies with a ferocity she never knew she possessed. Months turned into a year. Ravi had saved every rupee, every cent. He could not afford another shop, so he started with a cart, a small tea stall outside a local college. He served hot sweet tea and simple biscuits, but he offered something more. He had managed to buy a single second-hand printer. He started printing notes and resumes for the students, combining his old life with his new. He was not just a tea seller, he was a solution. The students loved him. They admired his spirit, his relentless smile, his unwavering work ethic. His tea was good, but his story was legendary. They came to him not just for caffeine, but for a dose of courage. 2 years later, Ravi no longer owned a cart. He owned 3 small printing kiosks strategically placed near different colleges. He had employees, he had stability. He had a future that was brighter than the one he had lost. On the wall of his main office hangs a single framed photograph. It is not a picture of his new success, it is a grainy picture of the burnt-out shell of his first shop, a reminder of the day he lost everything. Underneath the photograph, a simple sentence is handwritten on a plain piece of paper: "I smiled because I refused to give up." So what is the moral of this story? Is it that hard work pays off? Is it that time heals all wounds? Those are partial truths, but they miss the core. The real lesson is about the anatomy of strength. We often mistake strength for volume, for grand gestures and loud proclamations. We think it is the battle cry as we charge into the fray. True strength is far quieter, far more profound. It is the choice you make in the absolute silence of your despair. It is the decision to get out of bed when every fiber of your being wants to hide under the covers. It is the breath you take when the air itself feels heavy with grief. It is the small, almost imperceptible smile you wear, not because you are happy, but because you have decided to survive, to endure, to rebuild. Your greatest power is not in avoiding the fall. We all fall. It is in the quiet, deliberate way you choose to stand up, gather your pieces, and begin again. You are Ravi in your own story. You are facing your own fires, your own illnesses, your own Financial ruins. The world may be waiting for you to break, to cry, to surrender. They do not understand that you have already made the unbreakable choice. You have chosen to smile in the face of the storm, not because the storm is not real, but because your will to see the sunshine again is more real. So today, when you face that impossible task, that heartbreaking news, that mountain of doubt, remember the man in the ashes. Remember that your power lies not in the absence of pain, but in your response to it. Your quiet, steady, relentless rebuild is the most powerful motivation of all. You are already stronger than you know, because the choice to continue is the victory that no disaster can ever take away.